were like, oh, is it going to work?
Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Yeah, it's working. Good morning. Welcome to Natasha Makes. It is Workshop Wednesday, which means it's not me making anything, it's Jane. And she's going to make us this rather what is it? What's it? Dancing diamonds. That's it. Got a complete mental block there. Couldn't remember at all. How are you? Welcome to our last live show of the year. It's what we were just chatting about, isn't it? How did a year go?
Where's it gone?
I have no idea. I have no idea. And yet here we are in our Christmas jumpers.
Yeah.
I obviously bought one that's far too big to allow for shrinkage because I'm not very good at washing. Inga will be mortified.
It's very
But
pretty.
why can't you understand wool? I don't understand wool. Don't understand it. Cotton, no problem. Wool, not a clue. It does weird things in my washing machine and has its own setting. It's mystery to me. So good morning, how are you? It's hideous here, absolutely hideous, which is a good job that Jane has brought us a little bit of sunshine in our lives this morning. Good morning, lovely ladies. Says Jacqueline. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We've got Kaz and Lisa. Oh, thank you for your lovely message, by the way. And Judy and Leslie and your mum. Morning. And Margaret, hello, hello. Severin, good morning. And Helen, hello, hello. And Janet, good morning. And everyone, yeah, everyone's just coming on board, saying good morning. So, we have got two colourways this morning for you. We've got the Liberty. Nice. This was a colourway that you chose months ago, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It was, so when I was trying to convince Jane that what she really wanted to do was quit her job and come and work for us full time, she knew she wanted to, really. Yeah, this was the day that I happened to leave you alone in
a
room full of fabric, and I came back and you could do this, and that was it. We lost the Liberties. So we've got, is it 19 kits of that? That's all.
13.
13. Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
possibly
yeah,
14.
Possibly 14 if with a bit of a pinch. Which meant that we had to find you another colourway as well, which is never a hardship. Oh, Ginny's got a power cut. Oh no, a power cut last week meant that I missed the whole show. Oh, Ginny, you can always catch up. It's always on Facebook. You can always catch up. It's always on YouTube. Natalie, have you been driving across here, there, and moved house yet? Well, hang on. Let's get the update. Morning, ladies. Happy Christmas, everyone. Day 2 of house move, and it's cleaning. Oh, I don't like that bit of moving house. I don't. Freddie was asking me yesterday, Mummy, when do we do spring cleaning? Which, given that he doesn't clean anything, I'm not quite sure why he was asking. But I was trying to, and it suddenly dawned on me, did spring cleaning happen because they used to sweep all the straw and everything else they'd had for winter?
Yeah, and I think
is that what it was?
When the spring comes, the light's different and it shows like
everything.
The cobwebs and the windows. And
in our house, we call it the witching hour, and I tend to go and walk the dogs because it's not a fun hour where you see the dog nose art on the windows and the doors and the dog hair on. That's when I go out. That's how I get around that one.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no need for that. And also, we've moved house so many times, that generally tends to be my spring clean, where I go through everything. Morning, Ali. Good morning, Leanne. Hello. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday. Or Christmas, baby. I might have to dip out early and watch and catch up later. That's okay. You do whatever you need to do. Kirst says, morning, Natasha and Jane. Hope you have a lovely Christmas. Still working until tomorrow evening. Oh, that's a bit mean, isn't it? Morning, Karen. Can't say long. I'm off to have my hair done. Get you. Julie's got her 12 days of Christmas. It smells amazing. That's all good then. And in fact, the only person that I'm concerned that may not get it in time is our lovely lady in Ireland, because of when they went, and we're going to shut everything. And all of the DHL and DPD went, we're not taking it. We're not taking it. So, yeah. Is it just me? Video interrupted, please. Oh. Video stopped. Oh. Josh.
I'll just switch my... profile.
Oh. Oh, we're back. Are we back? Oh, we don't know. There we go. Hopefully back. Oh, people are saying that we're back. Oh, well, there we go. It wasn't an important bit. It was just my bit. It's fine. So the other colourway that we found for you. Oh, who was this fabric by? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, it's gone out of my head now. I think I wrote it on the label, which is under the brown fabric on the bundle.
The stream keeps dropping. Okay. Do you want to tell people about? I'm going to go and push some buttons and see what happens. Could be a disaster, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let me just go and check everything is connected
We
correctly.
have this beautiful fabric, and I think is it by? I've not written it down. Denise Burkett, Forest Medley.
Who's that? She's at home.
No, I don't know either.
I saw it and I really loved it, so I got it.
Fancy Free by Denise Burkett, Forest Medley is on the selvage.
There we go.
And
Perfect.
It's gorgeous. It's like winter berries. It's lovely. So it's got all these lovely winter tones, golds, purples and beiges and a bit of green in there. So I saw that on the bundle and we had these beautiful bumbleberries which just lend themselves beautifully to the colourways that were in the fabric. So that's how the colour choices got chosen. And of course the bumbleberries look a little bit like, well, they're berries, aren't they? So they sort of all blended in together. So lovely, rich autumnal colours. So that was the thinking behind that. And as Natasha was saying, we've only got a limited number of the Liberty kits. So yeah, we went with a completely different colourway to give you a more sort of rich autumnal colours for the. So it's a bit softer and a little bit more muted than the lovely brightness of the Liberty. But I think the Liberty's lovely, isn't it? Because it gives you that little bit of sunshine, which we definitely need on a dismal day today. Do you want to talk about the extra wide? Are we still stuttering?
I don't know if we're stuttering. I'm not sure if I don't think it's anything here. I've pushed every plug in just to double check. That's as technical as I get, for which we're all very grateful. And Josh has just said, "Don't touch anything," because he also knows how technical I get. So, would you like to show them? If you pass my tea to the front of the desk, I'm going to squidge round this way.
Yeah,
Grab this.
That over there.
I'm going to dip under here.
Well, Natasha limbos under the camera.
That was frightening for everyone, wasn't it?
Oh, look, it's all sparkly.
It is sparkly because the flowers at the top of the set are quite sparkly, and I love them.
They're beautiful, aren't they? I love those. They're gorgeous. Natasha has found you some stunning. Is it cave?
Yeah. It's all cave this
Extra
morning.
wide, 56 inches.
Yeah.
56 inches wide. 1.3 metre pieces. Is that right? 1.3 metre pieces?
Yes. So I put them on a really special price because they were bolt ends that I spied at my supplier.
Look at
I was
that.
like, well, what are you doing with that? It's Cave Regency.
Extra wide. Beautiful for quilt backings or just quilting with.
It's, I think the expression is mercerized.
Yes, it's got
It's a heavier weight cotton
almost
to it.
upholstery.
Almost,
not quite as heavy as upholstery weight, but
it's
nice, a nice quality weave and heavier than quilting fabric, but not too heavy, not upholstery weight. But beautiful and perfect for quilt backings.
We've got it in several different colourways.
We have this beautiful orange and magenta.
So that is, and I think they imaginatively call it red.
Yes. That's very uncave-like because
I know.
That's,
I mean, there is red in it.
there is.
I think they called this, wait for it, brown. Yeah.
A little bit more subtle, if you can get subtle with cave, with a bit of
It's got purple in it
purple
and green.
and orange in there, and a lovely little bit of soft green, brown and black stripes. So that's lovely as well. That's the same. 56 inches wide, 1.3 metre pieces.
Perfect.
You've done them at a very bargain price as well, if I remember you saying.
15 quid a piece.
Crazy lady.
Yeah. Everyone loves your jumper, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Love a bit of sparkle.
Margaret says the
look
feed
at
is fine
this.
for her. Oh, now this is Dream.
This is just, well, it is dreamy fabric.
It
Look
is
at
dreamy.
that. Oh, that's gorgeous. And the soft greens with a little bit of pink in there and a bit of fuchsia.
Beautiful.
And some orange, of course, because it
Of
wouldn't
course.
be cave without a bit of orange.
Now, we're not sure. YouTube has been steady throughout.
Right.
So I don't know if
Is
it's Facebook.
having a bit of a...
Might be. I wouldn't like to comment, but it means it's not me.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, no, don't care about anything else. Not me, not me.
Not my fault.
Oh, could you see a close-up of the brown? Yes, of course, Margaret.
Yes,
we
let's
can do that.
Let's do that.
We have the power. Look at that. Yeah. Should we do a close-up of all of them?
Yeah.
Just because otherwise it looks like we've got favourites.
It's not meant to be sparkly, but if you get this piece, it'll be sparkly because it's got a bit of glitter from the flowers on
Just a bit of Christmas magic, Jane.
Why
What
not?
can I say? That's free.
it. We all love a little bit of sparkle. Look at that. I love this.
Me too.
On our, I mean, I don't know what it's doing for you at home, but on ours it's quite muted, and it's not. It's vibrant. It's beautiful, hot red and magenta. Wow. Really bright and fresh and just what you need on a day like today.
Patricia is in St Ives in Cornwall, and they have good light there. I bet they'd get the light proper, wouldn't they?
Yeah, look
Now
at
this
that
is in
one.
green.
Green.
Yeah, we've
And
gone all out on
again,
the colours today.
It's lovely and vibrant, typical cave, lovely limey, zesty green with an emeraldy stripe. And then, of course, lovely fuchsia and orange in there.
I will
Perfect
always
bucket.
try and scout these little bits out for you. It means I'm really limited on the stock. Look at that.
This is just...
I've got that in a brown as well, which I was going to make a massive pumpkin doorstop out of.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I know.
It
Yeah.
is gorgeous. It's gorgeous fabric. Beautiful. And these, again, colours are just stunning. This is really minty green, this is, in real life. It looks quite sagey on our picture. I don't know what it's like at home, but there you go.
Oh.
4 types of backing.
Alison has been really good. She says she's got her 12 days of Christmas and she's put it beside the Christmas tree, out of Temptation's way.
Well, you are being good.
Everything's in Temptation's way.
That's what Christmas is about.
Obviously. Yep.
There's a definite Christmas feel here. This morning I got here to the sounds of Freddie singing Jingle Bells, and he'd obviously got some bells. And he was shaking the bells and singing at the top of his voice Jingle Bells, which was lovely.
He was doing that. He was also dragging his sister around by the bell because she wanted it.
Oh, I didn't see that bit, I only heard it. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Inga says, I've been to the post office with the orders from yesterday. They said they are processing stuff, but the last collection is possibly today because the post office system is completely log jammed.
You can believe it, can't you? Because of the
Yeah.
sudden change in restrictions. I bet everybody's suddenly having to post presents that they were thinking
Yeah.
they'd be exchanging.
And so they need to catch up with the backlog before they can take anything else in. So
Yeah.
that's the message from the post office. So stuff posted today may not arrive until after New Year. Okay,
I think
please bear
we're
with
going
us.
to, because we were going to post the block of the month, weren't we, this week? But I think we're going to leave it to next week, aren't we?
Yeah, until they've chilled out a bit.
Yeah, because we were worried that, you know, with the volume of post that it might not get to you by the 7th. But I think if we do it after Christmas, we'll be certain that they've got through the Christmas post. Okay, shall we get on with it then?
Yeah. It's all right. My friend's just sent me a picture of her baby.
Oh,
She's just
new.
had. Yeah, literally just had.
Oh.
Oh, congratulations, Becky and Ben.
What is it?
A little boy,
Oh, has it got a name yet?
Milo
two?
Benjamin
Milo.
Charles.
Oh. Right.
Oh.
So this block is a bit of a sort of an illusion. It's an illusion to give you square, like a 4-patch in the middle and then surrounded by 2 bands of fabric. And if you've noticed the block there is, I've taken the diamond shape into the border so that we carry it through into the border. because otherwise it just ends at the block, which
No,
is
it's perfect.
nice. But it joined together, and that's where the name Dancing Diamonds came from, because if you look at it, you keep seeing diamond shapes in different places. So your eye sort of dances across it.
Is that a traditional thing, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's all done with traditional piecing, and I don't know that it's a named block.
Is
It's
now?
probably out there somewhere.
Yeah.
It may be called something else as a traditional block. It's a sort of a square within a square, but it's all using traditional piecing and gives you a lovely visual effect. So that was what I went with that. Right, so the middle, we'll start with the middle square here, and this is an hourglass block. So we've got two 5 1/4 inch squares.
We didn't say what this fabric was in it. It's bumbleberries, is it? Along
Yes.
with, completely forgot to mention that, which gives it that lovely, rich
Yes,
feel.
and it sort of all goes, doesn't it? Because as we said, this main
Yeah.
fabric looks a bit like berries. And it's called Forest Medley, I think, that fabric, the pattern fabric. So
I mean,
that's
it's
lovely.
all medleying beautifully
All
together.
goes together.
Yeah.
So we've got the two centre colours, contrasting colours so that they show up the squares in the middle. Putting the right sides together, and we're going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on the top fabric.
I see Elizabeth says that she loves things on point,
Yes.
and Jenny's just enjoyed her advent calendar today. I'm trying to remember what I put in. I've got the list
Can you
of it
remember
somewhere.
everything? Because
No,
ages
can I?
since you did it, isn't it?
Can I? I can't. Jen, some days I struggle to remember my name,
Oh.
let alone anything else.
And we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of the drawn line.
Ooh. Now you see Alison's just back from buying turkey and ham. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she said, talking of birthdays, my daughter-in-law and son are expecting their first baby. Baby was due yesterday, no sign yet. Yeah, but they do that, don't they? In France, because you know they induce at 40 weeks here.
Yes.
In France, they say that first births should go 10 months, not 9.
Oh.
So they don't induce until then. So they have a really low induction rate. And you kind of go, oh, that works then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, you see, Christmas babies. Christmas babies. It's my sister-in-law's birthday tomorrow, so I'll be wishing her a happy birthday. We wondered if Freddie would make an early appearance, but clearly no. He was ridiculously late and had to have an eviction notice. And I think he's been
It's
late for
typical.
everything ever since.
I was going to say, typical boys, they
I
never want to go
know.
anywhere. But both of my boys came early.
Oh, did they?
Isaac was quite early, it was 6 weeks early, so he caused us a little bit of a first baby, you know, your first baby,
Yeah.
and they give you your due date and you think you're going to have your baby on that date.
Yeah, no. Not even remotely.
And he decided he was coming 6 weeks early.
I remember breathing a sigh of relief when we got to 30 weeks and just thinking, they can do stuff if the worst happens now.
Yes, yeah.
Like that's
Yes, they'll be
it,
fine.
isn't it?
So you've made 2 half square triangles in effect there.
Nice.
So you're going to place these now right sides together again, but this time you're going to put fabric A on top of fabric B and fabric B on top of fabric A. So
And the way that you've pressed it, it'll nest
because I've
that way
pressed
anyway.
to fabric A, the darker fabric, we can get those seams nesting together, making sure that they line up, and this gives you a nice point, you know, your seams match nicely. And we're going to draw a diagonal line in the opposite direction to the seam. So we're going from the opposite corner to corner. Let's draw that down. That's it. And we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that line. Now you may have just noticed I just turned that round. I always sew towards the seam on this one, and that just pushes it against the seam to sort of get that locking in effect of the seams as well. So that really helps, I think, to make sure that it really pushes itself against the seam. Gives you nice points meeting in the middle. because normally when you sew something, you sew away from the seam, don't you? Really, you don't like to sew into the seam because
Yeah,
it does
no,
push
that's
it
right, yeah.
together. So, but in this case, it does help just a little bit.
Oh, Becky's just said that she didn't realise what was missing in their lives until baby Milo arrived.
Oh, that's lovely.
It doesn't matter, does it, how many times people tell you, you know,
No,
you
unless
have to do it and find out for yourself.
Yeah. And so we're then going to cut on that drawn line through the middle and press that open, and that gives us the hourglass block. And you will have created 2 hourglass blocks. So that's 2 of your middles done in one go, which
Perfect.
is rather nice.
Maureen says, good morning all. Thanks, Natasha, for my pizza parcel. Smells so yummy. Yes. Yeah, so because everyone's so backed up with orders and the postal system is groaning everywhere, Stephen already for his pizza company had a DHL account and I didn't. And they're not taking on any new customers.
Right.
So I had to send it all through Stephen.
I'm going to do the little twiddle on this. So do we do a little close
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do a little twiddle? There you go, there.
So where this seam meets up here, we've just sewn that one and we've cut along this line here. We're just going to unpick that stitch and that stitch there up to that line on both sides. And then what we can do, whoops, not throw the unpicker on the floor, we can then just push the one seam down and the other seam up. We'll press that. I'll just go and press that. Ooh. Can do noises with the You can see then that we've got that little, and it just flattens the seam. There's less bulk in the middle of your block there, so it flattens it.
There we go. Yeah.
Flattens it nicely. I'll turn that over again so you can see one seam goes up and one comes down. And that just flattens that middle bit. So when you come to, if you wanted to quilt through it, it just makes it easier. There's less fabric to quilt through and it sits nicely then. So that's your middle unit. We're going to make the no waste flying geese, I need my teeth in, method.
If people want to make more than one of these,
Yes.
And make it bigger,
Yeah.
how would you suggest they make it bigger? Just do like 2 next to each other and just do it so that it's a larger lap quilt?
Yes. You would, yeah. If you bought 2 kits, you'd only get 8 blocks. So you'd have long, thin. But if you wanted to do it 3 by 3, you'd need a bit more fabric. The pattern's not quite finish proof wise, so we could maybe add on at the bottom of the pattern if they want to make it bigger and the quantities they'd need.
Right.
We can do that. We have
Okay.
the power.
We have the power.
The power.
Josh will be like,
Poor Josh will be
come
like, oh my
on.
God, now what?
no.
No, don't do that to me. So, yeah, we can definitely do that if you want to make it as a bigger quilt, which would look quite nice, I think, wouldn't it? So we've got a 5 1/4 inch square and we've got 4 2 7/8 inch squares. This one is fabric A and this is fabric C. On the thing, it's all in the instructions. You're going to make quite a few flying geese. So I think in the instructions I just say repeat step whatever it is with these fabrics and repeat it again with these fabrics and repeat it again with these fabrics.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Keep
and
going.
repeat.
Yeah. So you'll make several versions of this. So we've got the back, the main square, and the bigger square is the one that forms a large of your flying geese unit. Let's just find one that we made earlier. It forms a larger square.
Right.
So your big square is the large square of your flying geese unit.
Right.
Can we see that?
Yeah.
And then the squares that we're going to use are 2 7/8. They form the corner squares of that. So we're going to place those in opposite corners with the line running diagonally through from point to point of the, so they line up. They will overlap in the middle,
And that's okay.
and that's fine. I love this method of making flying geese. It's if you do it for the first time, it's a little bit like, what's happening?
Yeah,
And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah,
that's the one.
and it makes 4 flying geese in one go. So obviously for a block like this where there's a lot of flying geese in it, it saves time, and there's no waste.
Oh,
So you've got no leftover bits that you think, oh, I don't want to throw those away, they might come in useful, and of course they don't, and you just end up with a bag full of half square triangles that you can't bear to part with.
yeah, but to be fair, I then stuffed them in my bolster cushion
Yes,
stuffing, and that was really
stuffing,
useful.
yeah.
That used an awful lot of stuff. Josh has come on as IT support and said, if the stream keeps dropping on Facebook for you, please visit the website and watch the YouTube stream instead, as that seems to be more stable. Facebook are having streaming issues due to server-side delivery. He did put in brackets yawn because he knows that I'll be like, oh, technical stuff, Joshua. Just don't like the technical stuff.
Yeah, I expect there's lots of people using Facebook over the next few days.
Well, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
putting messages on for family and friends, and everybody's plans have suddenly been turned upside down, haven't they? So,
Yeah.
but we'll keep safe and we'll be here for next time, which is the main thing.
Yeah, my mum has got a little mantra that we distance now so that when we come together, we can all be there.
Yes, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's inconvenient and a little bit upsetting because we'd made these lovely plans, but
My brother, who is
if we
the
take
biggest
care now,
carnivore
we'll be all
you,
here next year.
you will ever meet, was due to go to his in-laws, and his job was the cheese and wine. So they have a lot of cheese and a lot of champagne, and no meat.
They're going to have a lovely Christmas. Sounds like my
I
ideal
mean, like,
Christmas.
for a veggie like you, my
Yeah.
mum's like, I really don't see what the problem is because she's veggie as well. And
Sounds
Matt's just,
perfect to me.
Matt's eyeing up the dog's bone, going, oh, you know, she's got more meat than I've got.
So you can see there, we cut along that marked line that we'd made. So I sewed 1/4 inch either side there, and then cut along the marked line I'd made. And now we're just going to press the 2 small triangles up and away from the large triangle that we've now created.
Oh yeah, yes. I do remember this, and
Yeah.
I remember always getting to this point going,
Yeah, because you've got this now.
that
and you
looks like
think,
you're going to have to do a Y seam or something.
yeah,
like,
there's no
what?
flying geese there. What's going on? So you take your next 2 squares and you place those in the corner of the large triangle, with the line facing from the point up between the 2 triangles that small triangles you've just created.
Did you do this on one of our very first blocks?
Yes, yes, I think we
And
did.
it was before Josh started doing all of our instructions, all of his graphic-y stuff, because I
Yeah.
seem to remember looking at these and going, oh, they look like hearts.
They do look like hearts. They're
Yeah.
really cute. So yeah, and then we're going to pin those down, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch either side of that marked line.
Awesome.
I love this, like my mantra, I think. So 1/4 inch either side of the marked line. I'll have that on my headstone. It's like,
There are worse things.
yes. In the instructions, you've got how many of these that you need to make for each colourway. Again, with the fabric A and the fabric B, you're going to make more than you actually need for one block, but that's fine because you'll use them in the next block.
Oh, so you're getting ahead.
So it's sort of like, it's a bit like batch baking, this quilt. You make quite a few of the units in one go that you then use in the next block. So it's sort of a little bit time saving, really. So we're going to cut.
Yeah, it's always at
Along
this
that
point that
line.
I get completely lost and go, really, this is going to do a flying geese?
Yeah, because it looks like some sort of space invader at the moment,
Well-
doesn't it? It's like, what?
Or a fox.
Yes.
Or a
little
foxy face.
Yeah. So we're going to cut along that marked line now. And you end up with 4 weird shaped looking things. And it's at this point, I think, if you're used to the shape of a flying geese unit, you think, oh, right, yeah, I see now. Because we're going to press that one up there and you get your flying geese unit. And you've made 4 in one go and there's no little bits of fabric
Nice.
lying around that you think, oh, do I need to keep that?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do, because I can't bear to throw any little bit away, because you never know. If you do it pliqué, little bits like that can come in really handy. Terrible, aren't we? We can't bear even the smallest piece. We're like, oh, I'll just keep
Well,
that
it's
in
important. We
case.
paid for it and we love
Yes.
it and we don't want to waste any of it.
So you will make 4 of those ones. Where are we? Here. And you'll do the same with fabric B and fabric C. So you get 4 of that colourway. You're then going to use fabric C as your large square, and you'll use 4 fabric D squares to create units, flying geese units that look like that. So you've got the cream fabric in the middle with this fabric on the outside. And then you're going to also make some of the flying geese units with fabric D and fabric E, which is your main fabric,
Right.
on the outside. Now these aren't for the block, these are for the border. But I thought we'll do them all in at
Okay.
the same time,
Yeah, yeah.
because you're using that method. And if you're new to this method, it's another way of
Yeah.
getting used to the, you'll try it over in repetition over and over again. So you put the ones that you've made that are going in the border, you put those to one side because you're going to use those later in the block.
I love how organised you are.
So for one block, you only need 2 of each of those ones,
Right.
but you will need all 4 of the C with the D.
C with the D.
C with the D. Right, so those are your flying geese units. I'm going to put those to one side because we'll come to those in a minute. So we're going to make the corner units now.
Nice.
So we've got a piece of the main fabric and a piece of fabric D, which is this one.
Do you have a favourite out of these two now?
No, I love them equally because they're so different.
Yeah.
You've
This
got
is
that,
the thing, isn't it?
you've got that lovely, bright, fresh feel of that one, and then this one is like, oh, it's all warm and cosy.
It's all about the
autumny.
fabric, isn't it?
Yeah,
Always.
I think colours, don't they? Well, it's proven, isn't it? Colours can affect your mood.
Yes.
So a lovely zingy bright one, you think, oh, summery and all nice and fresh.
But on a day like today, I want to
This
snuggle
is-
under that.
Yeah, cosy quilt.
Yeah.
So these are 4 7/8 inch squares, putting them right sides together, and we're going to draw a line from point to point across the diagonal. And guess what? We're going to sew 1/4 inch either side.
Really? Really?
Yeah, how strange.
I just
never
you-
done that before.
No. Obviously, I'm now thinking, what fabrics could I do this in for baby Milo?
Yes. Yes, it would make a nice little... It's a shame it wasn't a girl.
I know. We could have gifted.
So yeah, we're sewing 1/4 inch either side of this line. Well, you know what you could give him? You could give him that stretch 9 patch from last week.
Oh, yes.
Nice blue checkered one.
Very nice blue
Yeah.
checkered one.
Very boyish, just a nice size for little baby.
Yes.
And then we're going to cut along this marked line. So we're cutting it in half, and we've created 2 half square triangles.
I do feel that's a little bit of a cheat because you made it and I didn't.
Nobody but us knows that.
Well,
Apart
you
from
know.
all our viewers,
Yeah, they won't say anything.
they won't say anything.
Well, you guys.
It's been made with love either way.
It's been made with absolutely. And by the time you stick a teddy in with it,
Yeah.
it's all good.
So you've got 2 half square triangles. Now you're going to make 4 half square triangles for your block.
Yep.
Okay. Now then, we could have pieced this with half square triangles and you'd have had lots of seams and everything going on, but this is a quicker way of doing it. You get the same effect. So we've got 2.5-inch squares here of fabric C.
Yeah.
And we're going to place that square in the corner of fabric D with the diagonal line running in the same direction as the seam.
Right. Right sides together?
Right sides together.
Nice.
Just might want to pin that in place just to hold it while you take it to the machine, because you know what it's like. As soon as you move it to your machine, it changes its direction without you noticing.
What? How? What?
There's
how?
a little sewing elf somewhere
Is
that
there
just
like a
messes
law
with
of
your
physics?
fabrics. Yeah.
Because the last time I looked, like, you know, there were only like 4 Newton's laws of physics, and I'm sure that this is another one that he just missed out. If it had been into quilting, he'd have sorted it.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there'd have been a law. There'd have been something, wouldn't there? Because it does.
Yeah.
Whenever you take it to your machine, it decides it's going
Spins
in
around.
the other
Absolutely
direction
does.
that you want it to go. Now this time, we don't sew either side of the seam, of the line rather. We're going to sew on the line for a change. So I'm just going to put that
What, on the line?
actually on the line.
Actually on the line.
Yeah. So I just put my needle back into the centre position, and we're just going to sew on the line, and we can chain piece that nicely.
Do you know what, actually that stretched 9 patch would be perfect, wouldn't it?
It's an ideal size for a baby quilt.
It really is. Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, would Josh know why my live video broadcasts record with an awful hiss? He's doing proper IT support. I don't know, Claire.
He probably would.
Probably would. Yeah, I think he said it might be a something or another. I don't know, it sounded technical. Inga says, I might want to make an announcement about delaying the block of the month. If we post them out, we'll post them out ASAP.
I think if they go, I mean, they're closed on, well, they'll be closed Saturday, Sunday. Monday's bank holiday, so they'll be closed then, won't they?
Yeah.
Which is the 26th, 27th, 28th. 29th, they'll be open. If we post them then, that gives it 2 days plus the days after the new year.
So here's the thing, we have a spare quilt show we can pop in if people haven't received them.
Yeah.
So if on the Monday or Tuesday, we'll post them as soon as we can, as soon as the post
If
office
we
let
post them
us.
on the Tuesday after bank holiday Monday, they've got 5 days to get there.
Yeah, so according to Lloyd, our post office manager,
Yes.
he says that they won't take any more posts until they've cleared the warehouses.
Right. I'm sure that will be, you know.
We'll whack them in the post as soon as we can.
Yeah.
If you get them in time, then we'll do it.
We can
if
always
not, we'll do
delay
it the next
can't
week.
we? We've got a quilt in hand, as they say. Right. So
Is that like a bird in hand?
yeah,
But softer.
but softer. So that's what you need to do. Now I'm just going to show you something that we can do, because what we'll do, in the instructions, what you do now is you cut 1/4 inch. You place your 1/4 inch mark on the line that you've drawn and sewn on, and you cut that away, which leaves those 2 bits spare. Now, if you really can't bear the waist, if you measure 1/2 inch from this drawn line, put my light marker there, and draw a line, and you sew on that marked line.
Oh.
This is nothing to do with the quilt, this is just something that you could do, and then it saves you having all those bits of fabric floating around that you can't quite bear to throw away, but really are you actually going to do anything with them?
I might.
Yes, and then if you cut
Okay, you know me too well.
Yeah, there are people that will, and they'll have an ideal project for them. So if you then cut that 1/4 of an inch away from that drawn line, you've now got some little half square triangles, which you're more likely to do something with than a loads of bits of fabric like that.
In fact, when I did the snowball cushion,
Yes.
I did an add-on with it that
Yeah.
shows you how to make a pouch using all of those little
Yes.
scraps.
We made a little pin cushion, didn't we? And you made something with little pieces like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for the pattern, we're just cutting them off. But if you want to do that little extra bit there, then you'll have all those, you won't have waste like that. You'll have lots of lovely little cute half square triangles that you'll be able to make something with. And then you're going to press that up and away from the square, so it re-becomes the square again.
Okay.
And those are your corner units. Well, do you know something I discovered the other day? This is
Go
one
on,
of those
tell me.
wash away markers.
Yeah.
If you iron these, and this might not work actually, I'll show it on this one. But you know our misters with the best press in?
Yeah.
You draw them like that. If you mist it with this,
Oh, goes.
it disappears.
Yeah.
I knew that it washed away, but I didn't realise such a fine mist would
Oh,
make
no,
it
you can
disappear.
mist it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I was like, ooh, I like that.
I'm going to be honest. I have been known before COVID to lick my finger and rub it away.
Yes.
You know,
We've
when
all
no
done
one's
it.
looking.
We've all done it. So those are your corner units. You'll have 4 of those. Okay. So now we're going to do these side units, and this is where the flying geese come in. You've got 2 with fabric A and 2 with fabric B, and then you've got your C and D fabric flying geese units, and you're going to attach the C and D to the A's and the B's,
Ah, look at that.
and it forms like that chevron shape.
It all starts to come together.
Now, when you put them together, make sure you put the C fabrics together. So you've got
Yeah.
the 2 small triangles of the C and the large triangle of the C, and you're placing them together. Now, they should be the same size, and they should just fit together. If you want to pin it, please do pin it. And I always sew it, and I think, can we have a close-up on this one?
Yeah.
I always sew it with the triangle facing upwards, because I've got like a little X marks the spot going on there
Yeah.
where the seam goes across. And I know when I sew across this way, I want the seam line to be inside that side of the X, so I don't lose the
Gotcha.
point of my flying goose.
See, it still feels wrong just calling it flying. I still feel like it should be flying.
Goose. Yes.
I never know.
Yeah.
And
no,
I know we
it's-
have this conversation a lot because I get confused every time.
It's a flying geese unit because that isn't a goose. That's the shape of the migrating geese.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because they fly in the triangular
Yeah.
formation so that they get less weary.
Yes. So yeah, they are flying geese units. So even though when it's one, you want to call it a flying goose, and you can because
You don't want to be that lone goose, though, do you? Let's
no,
be
not
honest.
really.
Oh, it really is vile out there, Jen. It's a proper grey day.
It really is, isn't it? And we're on the 23rd now. The days are getting brighter because
They're getting longer. They're getting
we've gone-
longer.
We've gone past the shortest day.
Which is great, and I always do a little happy dance on those days. I also think, well, we've now got more daylight to look at that.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. And it's not the nicest, is it, at the moment? And I know there's some people out there that are really struggling with this rain because it's going to start flooding and, oh dear, as if things aren't bad enough. You've got to know. They were saying on the radio this morning some of the areas are starting to put their flood barriers up. And
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, take their mind off stuff, won't it?
Well, it will.
You
yeah.
know, it gives them something else to think about. You've got to look for a positive.
You've got to try and find a positive somewhere. That'll keep me busy trying to stop my house flooding. Yeah.
There you go. You see, there you go. I do not belittle having lived in a flood area.
No.
I don't belittle it at all. But
Well, it's horrible, isn't it? Because I think water's the worst. We used to run a pub and we had our cellar flood the one time, and it didn't matter what you did, you could bung up the one hole and it'd find somewhere else to get in, and you'd just be like, you can't fight this. It's come in and there's nothing you can do to stop
I
it.
keep saying to Freddie, water wins.
Yeah, definitely, every time.
Because he likes to play rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
And I just go, water, boom, I win. And he's like, Mum, that's not
fair.
But so he does, because also I need him to know when he's learning to swim, like, water wins. You've got to respect it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely got to respect it. Oh, there you go. Bronwyn's just received her pattern for the disappearing 9 patch. So that's her Christmas sorted. There you go,
Lovely.
you see.
Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah. Wow, I mean, that's a sweeping statement to make.
I'm sure you'll find something in trouble.
You know, if you really want to find a bit of
when
trouble.
you're pressing these units, press them with the seam going under the large triangle, just because, again, that reduces the bulk in the when you come in to sew it. When you come in to sew it together, you know, and you're quilting, it'll just take the bulk out of it slightly, because if you try and go against the seams, it doesn't like it. It doesn't lie as flat. I know I'm not trimming the ears off as I go here, but I do recommend, particularly with this block, because there are so many seams, that you do trim the ears off as you go. Just to reduce the bulk of it, and makes the block lie a lot flatter. So these are your middle parts of your block now. So we can start putting these together. It's a 9 patch at the end of the day. So as we always do, we sew together in rows of 3. So you're going to make sure that you've got your A flying geese unit there against the A fabric in your hourglass block. And that's what forms the squares there. And then you put your corner units in, and you want your corner unit with a small C triangle facing inwards, so your print fabric on the outside facing upwards and outwards. So you can see that comes together there like that. And so we do what we do with every 9 patch. We sew it together in rows, and then we sew the rows together. Now you're going to have a little bit here where you think, oh, I don't know how I can sew this together. You don't. Can we go on a close up?
Yes, always.
Gonna
Is HP in here? I just heard a sneeze.
She's down there somewhere, I think. Just trim that ear off. That's all I'm doing, just so that we can see it better. You've got the seam here, so you want it to go against that seam there, so you don't lose the point. But here you've just got a straight line, and the temptation is to want that seam there to sit on the edge of there. Well, actually you don't. You want to offset that 1/4 inch. Now, because we've measured 1/4 inch there, if you line that edge up with your bit of seam, if I just step that down, you can see that edge there, line it up with that seam there, it should sit in a continuous line. If you line your blocks up, it should do it as well, because they should be the same size.
So expect it to be 1/4 inch
Yeah,
out.
and it's a little bit off-putting, because you feel like you should match the seams up, but you don't. You're just offsetting them slightly, just so that they can see. If you want to, you could place a pin in 1/4 inch down here. We see that it's 1/4 inch down. Push that through, and then just make sure it goes into that seam there, and then you know you're definitely in the right place, and you can place your pin and push it across.
Oh, Elizabeth had a water coming into her airing cupboard from a ball cock. No one wants a faulty ball cock now, do they?
No, not at all.
You're going to have to do a bit of painting. Yeah, I like painting. Nicola says, morning everyone. No, it's not what she said at all. I've lied. Enjoying this morning. It had morning in it somewhere.
Yes.
Are we getting written instructions for this morning's quilt, please? They should be on the website.
I don't think they've been proofread yet, have they?
So the digital one won't be up yet, but the
Yes.
yes, 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 yes. I'll just
They're
ask SJ
written.
if she's loaded them.
But I was a little bit slow this week getting the instructions.
It's like there was other
Anybody would
stuff
think
happening.
it was Christmas or something and there was other things going on as well. Yeah, so I apologise for the delay there. I have not done that particularly well. I could have stepped that up, and I will probably, if I was doing this properly, I would unpick that and just realign it.
Would
We'll
you?
try again on this side. Yeah, I just don't like the fact that that's quite a way out. We'll try again. We'll do better on this one.
Must do better.
Must do better. There is a lot of seam matching on this one, so
is this
maybe
not a beginner's
not
one?
your very first quilt. You know, maybe just... You can give it a try, you know, if you feel that you could do this, go for it.
Right, we're just adding the instructions. Sorry, one way or another, they got missed off the website this morning. They are being added as we speak.
Lovely.
And digital will come
Yeah,
after
you
Jane's
see.
made any kind of...
That one is
Oh, perfect.
not perfect, but
Oh,
it's good enough. It'll do.
what's wrong with the other one then?
Well, it's stepped down, if you can
Is it?
see. Can you see how it's stepped down? You've
Is
got a
it?
little bit there.
Really?
You might get away with it, but I don't. I'm not happy with that. I would unpick that and redo it. I can see it better than you can see it on the camera.
I can see it better than you can.
Yeah. So I'm going to press the seams towards the corner units again, just because you've got quite a lot of bulk going on with seams and things, so it tends to naturally want to fall that way. So those two seams are facing that way. So when I come to sew this one, now this one you can nestle the seam here
Oh, nice.
because we've been pressing it the way we have. So nestle the seam there. These seams on this side go the same way, so you may just want to pop your pin along the seam line just to hold it
Right.
while you're sewing it, because it'll want to jiggle itself away as you sew over it. But the first one nestles quite nicely, which is lovely. And we're going to press that seam towards the middle unit. And we'll do the same on the other side. We can nestle the seam at that end this time, and we'll just pop a pin in along the seam on this side,
Perfect.
just to keep it together while we sew it.
No, see, Claire makes a really good point. She said first quilts will depend on how confident you are. She said mine was an ABC quilt, 26 different blocks, including foundation paper piecing, and she'd never pieced patchwork at all beforehand.
Well, this is it, and sometimes when you're a beginner, because you don't know any different,
yeah.
you just get on with it.
You're like, oh, how hard can this be?
this'll
This
be easy.
quilting malarkey.
Sometimes it depends on the sort of person you are, but sometimes if you try something too complicated for your first quilt, it puts you off and you don't ever go back.
I think you need to know what sort of person you are,
Yeah.
don't you?
But some of us, and I think Claire's one of those people,
She just cracks on with
get
it.
on
doesn't
with
she?
it.
Get on. Come on.
I've known people that have come to the shop and they've said, oh, I've seen this picture for this quilt and I want to make it. And they show me this picture of this quilt and I'm like, oh, okay. That's a bit complicated. Are you sure you want to do that for your first quilt?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can do that. Okay, let's go on and get on with it. So yeah, again, I'm just going to pop the pin in here and just line it up with that seam there, just so that I know. Now, my flying geese units, for some reason, one of them is slightly longer than the other. So in this case, I've got seam hanging over, but because I know that I want to go to that point there, I'm going to line the edge of my foot up with the shorter piece,
Right.
because that works for
Oh
what I'm
gosh, did you
doing.
hear my stomach?
And it's lunchtime for you, isn't it?
Well, I thought I would do, you know, I'm trying to do the 5-2 thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I'd just sneak a quick fast day in before Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, it turns out I'm actually quite hungry.
It's the worst time of the year as well, isn't it? Because there's all these lovely, tempting foods around.
I know.
And people give you lovely biscuits and chocolates.
But I thought we'll be quite busy today.
Oh, we had that lovely hot chocolate, didn't we? From
Oh, I know.
Oh, a lovely gift from a lady that sent it in.
It's Ginny.
Ginny, it was beautiful.
Yeah. It's deciding whether to go for the white one or the orange and allspice one.
Well, for me, it's a no-brainer because I'm not very keen on chocolate orange, so
Okay.
it's white chocolate for me every time.
Because I thought we'd have a big hot chocolate after the show. Because it's not very
I
nice
knew I
outside.
liked working here for a reason.
It's all good. Well,
Nothing else, you
good,
get
Sue
fed
Ginny.
well here, I tell you, it's lovely. What did we have yesterday? Oh, delicious egg sandwiches.
Yeah, you see, I can't bake, but I can make
Oh, she makes a good sandwich.
jolly good sandwich and
She
soup
makes
as
a
well.
lovely sandwich. Oh, yes. Your soup is delicious. Why do we always end up talking about food when we're on with me?
Don't know. I think because
Because I like food.
we share that in common.
Love of
It has
food.
to be said.
Yeah. That's better. Yeah, these ones sit nicely now. Okay, so we've got those going on. So there's our 3 rows, and now we're going to join the rows together. And because we've pressed that seam in and those ones out,
Yeah.
we can nestle those seams quite nicely. Again, we might have to just do a little bit of pinning here because we want it to sit nicely. You shouldn't need to, but at this point, I think you've worked, you've gone so far. You want to just make sure that you don't have to unpick the whole row and have it sitting just nice without giving you any distress and thinking, oh, that doesn't match, I've got to do that again. It's nothing worse.
April, Australian April's watching. Hello. She sent an email about sorting out her order for the end of the year. Yes. It just depends on how fast you want to get it. It's one of those things, isn't it, when you're posting abroad like that?
Yeah, I think the last
fast you
posting
want to
day
get
for
it.
Australia for Christmas has gone, hasn't it? But I think our poor old post office, they've been doing a fantastic job, to be fair to them. They're just overwhelmed, aren't they, really? I mean, it's a busy enough time of the year anyway, and then I think more parcels have been sent this year than there have been in previous years for a long time. Because people aren't going to some people weren't going to get to see some family members anyway, were they, because of distance and everything. And just keep each other safe and we'll be all right.
I think my mum and dad decided quite early on because of health and whatnot.
Yes.
They just sort of wrote it off and went, do it another year.
Yeah, and I think,
sort it.
like as we said, we'll make the sacrifice, sorry, excuse me, we'll make the sacrifice this Christmas so that we can all be together next Christmas.
Absolutely. Thank goodness for FaceTime and things like that.
Well, yeah, this is it, isn't it? I mean, years ago we didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
It was quite difficult. Yeah, so we're going to those 2 rows together, and we'll do the same with this 3rd row. I'm just going to make sure that I'm in the right place, just so that it lines up nicely. So 1/4 of an inch down.
Up, by the way.
Oh, cool. And we're just in the right places there. That's it. Over the best pins. We don't want any broken needles.
That's why I have one of those telescopic magnet things, so that if anything does snap and go in,
Yes,
I can get it back out again.
it's easy to do, isn't it?
I'm loving those little colours. They're not really my colours, Jane, but I am loving them.
I don't know what it is. There's something about them, isn't there? It's just
Yeah.
lovely.
They're really gorgeous.
And there we go.
The bumbleberry fabric as well.
Yes,
with those lovely-
it gives it's lovely. I mean, Lewis and Irene's bumbleberries are beautiful, and the colours,
They make fabulous
beautiful.
mixes, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely lovely. So there's your block.
Perfect.
So you'll make 4 of those.
Yeah.
You'll join these 2 together. I'm going to do that. I'm going to join these 2 together because then we'll talk about the borders.
All right.
So it's just carefully matching up your seams. Now, if you can really think about it, you might press one of the blocks with the seams going inwards. It won't like it, but it might make your job easier because you'll be able to nestle the seams here. But you can pin it. And again, you've got your pin mark there. You can see where that seam, that's your 1/4 inch sewing gap there. So push your pin in through the point there and push your pin in through the point at the bottom. And then you can run your pin through along the seam line that matches up that side and do it the same on this side. So just popping the pin through that seam there where the point is, and then bringing it through, and bringing it down into where the point is on the other side, so that we know that they're lined up. It should be a 1/4 inch, but you know what we're like. Sometimes it's not quite 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch, Jane? Did you say a 1/4 inch?
Yeah, in a fashion. What my nana used to say, a blind man on a galloping horse, wouldn't I?
Now apparently people can't hear me, Jane. I'm going to go and have to check the other. I put new batteries in everything this morning, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I was so good. I was like, we're not having that thing again. So I'm going to go and check because I don't know why that would be a thing today when I was battery diligent.
Yeah. It's obviously one of those days today,
I
technology-wise.
think it thinks we should be on our Christmas holidays.
Yeah. So we've got the 2 blocks together, and if we've matched those seams up, they'll sit nicely, which they do. I'm pleased with that. And then you'll do that with the other 2 blocks. And again, I suggest that you press one seam going one way and one going the other way with your blocks. And then when you join the 2 sets of blocks together, you've got that nestling seam going on in the middle as well, which will join them up quite nicely. So you'll have, in effect, a square of 4 blocks like this. So then you come to your borders. Now you'll have made your flying geese for your borders with your fabric D and your fabric E. And you'll need to have 8 sets of these flying geese. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. Got a frog in my throat.
Now they were brand new batteries in today, Jane.
And they're faded already.
Brand new in. I don't think I had that much to say. I've broken batteries already.
And you will have, in the instructions, you cut a 2.5 inch wide strip of the background fabric, fabric E, and you cut 4 at 8.5, 4 at 6.5, and 4 at 4.5. And you take the 8.5 pieces and you sew a flying geese unit to each end of that 8.5 piece. So we'll just do that. What we'll do is we'll make one of each border, because you're going to make 2 that are slightly shorter and 2 that are a little bit longer. And then I can show you how to put the short one on at least. So you're just going to sew that to the end of the 8.5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangle. Making sure that the flying geese are both in the same direction. I had to unpick one because I'd managed to sew it like that.
I mean, yeah.
It happens. Again, it's those little sewing elves that decide to turn your fabric round as you go.
Oh, I know what I meant to tell you. You know the other day with Joe Carter we did the bear heads.
Yes.
Yeah. Emily has assumed that it is actually a hat. She was asking, Mummy, can I have the hat?
Oh.
Not a hat. Not a hat.
It could be the next thing for Ascot, you know, you put a little clip on it, a bit on the
It could
thigh,
be the
like a
thing.
little fascinator.
It could be the thing. Margaret says that she can't hear me apart from when I laugh.
It's got to be picked up on my microphone.
Oh, it's that laugh again. It always gets me in trouble.
Oh, it's a lovely laugh and it's very contagious. Don't you go changing it.
Oh, Elizabeth says, can she take this opportunity to wish a happy Christmas to Natasha Makes and all who sail in her. Aye, aye. And a massive thank you. Do you know what we were saying? We can't believe how fast this year's gone.
No.
And that it's been a year. It's just nuts.
It's been crazy and it's been lovely. And, you know, we're very grateful, aren't we, really, for everybody who watches and buys.
Well, it's the only way it works, isn't it?
Carries on.
So, yeah, you guys have made it, really.
Yeah, without you, we wouldn't be here. So we're grateful to you lot as well. Right, so you'll have 4 with the 8-inch piece in between the 2 flying geese. And 2 of them, you're going to sew the 4.5 by 2.5 at the end. And the other 2, you will sew the 6.5 by 2.5 at the end.
Okay.
So you'll have 2 borders with the 4.5 and you'll have 2 with the 6.5.
And all of this is in your instructions,
Yes,
which are up on the website.
Yeah.
Isabel says, it's been really lovely and therapeutic in these difficult days. Following your demonstrations, Natasha and your guests, particularly Jane, she's so calm and thorough, a joy to watch and listen to. Thank you so much for all the work you put towards making your shows. Happy Christmas to you and your team. Oh, thank you.
That is lovely. Thank you.
We have the best viewers.
Don't we, Joss?
Yes. Yes. Of course we do.
I think they become like friends, don't they, eventually? We just...
Well, that's just
get,
it, and we know the
lovely
names
comments and the nice suggestions and everything else that comes with it. It's lovely.
And you don't mind when my cat sneezes on air, you know, stuff like that.
She can't help it.
She's rolling around on the floor like a crazy thing, purring her head off.
Yes.
So now my mic has been fixed. You might pick her up.
She thinks she's a kitten, even though she's an elderly lady.
She's not ready to grow up
No, of course she
anytime
isn't.
soon.
Who is? Growing up, what's that all about?
I don't want to. There are some days where I just don't want to adult, I'll be honest.
No, definitely not.
Ooh.
There we go. So I'm pressing the seams away from the flying geese units, again, just because you've got quite a bit of bulk going on down here.
Right.
So the one with the shorter pieces, the 4.5-inch pieces, they fit onto the top of there. So that...
Oh, and then did you add the side, so you'll sew those on first and then do the
sew that on
side
first
bits.
and then put the top and the bottom one on, which are the shorter ones, and then you will put the side ones on. And
Do you
again,
know what
they'll
though,
line
Jane?
up.
That would actually make a really nice table runner.
Wouldn't it? If you wanted to do that, you just have to think you wouldn't have the 8-inch piece there and you'd only have one and you'd have a 6.5 either side.
Yeah.
So you'd put you'd put those 2 on with your 4.5s on.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could make the blocks, you could put all 4 blocks in a row.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
You know, and have doesn't have to be a table runner because they have bed runners as well, don't you? Bed scarves they're called, where they just go over the top of
scarves.
the
Is that what
bottom
they're
of the
actually
bed.
called?
Yeah, bed scarves across the bottom of the bed just to keep your toes warm.
Oh, is that what it's for?
That's
I
the
thought it was
plan.
for the cat to lie on.
Well, yes, that as well.
It always comes back
so
to
if you
animals.
wanted to do that, all you have to think is that it's 8.5 between the blocks, and then whatever the width is from this one, and for the one side there, it's 4.5 because that's a 4.5 inch unit.
Yeah.
So this one here,
Mm.
if you did it as just one row, you'd have a 6.5 there because that's 2.5 and that's 4.5.
Yes.
So it would make 6.5
Yes.
with the seam, and your flying goose unit.
Yeah.
And then another 6.5 here,
Nice.
which you could do. So if you wanted to do it, the pattern, the kit would be enough to do that because you're just taking out that 8.5 inch unit for the
I rather
side
like that
pieces.
idea.
It's a lovely idea.
I do like that idea. It's only because it was actually just looking at it on the screen and I was thinking, oh, that would look really nice.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it, as a runner?
Yeah.
We've got 2 6.5 inch pieces. Let's just move that down.
Uh-oh, what's
Here we
going
go.
on now?
There we go. Look, so you've got your 6.5 inch there, and we've got the 6.5 inch there. So that would,
Or even just a block front and back for a cushion
yeah,
would
Yeah.
be so nice too.
yes, because you could add and again then you would have a 4.5 with the flying geese either side to do that side,
Yeah.
and then you'd have another flying geese unit and 2 6.5s then would make your cushion front.
Nice.
So
Nice.
one block. If you just wanted to have a go at the technique just to make one block, because
Yeah.
sometimes that's all people want, isn't it? Just think, oh, I like that block, I'll have a go, and just make one, make
Yeah.
it into a cushion,
That's
or even
why we
just a
have so
table
many cushions.
centre. You know, you could have that in the middle of your table.
Oh yeah, nice. With a big
Yeah.
vase or
with a
something.
nice
Yeah.
flowers on the top.
Yeah.
So
Wendy
there we
says
go.
that she's sorry she's late to the party. She had a soggy dog walk and then had to dig the drains to divert water off the road and away from the house.
Oh gosh.
But-
this is the other thing, isn't it? We've still got leaves falling off the trees
Yeah, because we
it's
haven't
been
we
so
haven't
mild.
had cold.
Yeah,
No.
it's been so mild.
But she says that her house smells gorgeous from the 12 Days of Christmas parcel.
Oh, that's lovely.
And she says thank you for being there this year and for the countless laughs. I mean, sometimes it was with me, sometimes it was just at me.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's life, and it's lovely because it's just, we do it as it happens, and you're there with us when we cut it wrong or put it together the wrong way round and stuff like that. And it's nice to see that we're, you know, we might be the expert, but we do make a mistake occasionally.
You mean human?
Yeah.
Human. Human in your sparkly polar bear top.
There we
Aw.
go. So this is lovely, this fabric, isn't it? Look at that. It really sets off the colours beautifully.
It was one of those ones that came in. It was going to be for Half Meat Heavens, and then it was one of those accidents, wasn't it? It just happened to be put down next to the Lewis and Irene.
Bumbleberries, and we were like, oh, look how that pulls those colours out. It's lovely.
Got to
Very
be done.
nice. Yeah.
Got to be done. Oh, Jane, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So we're not leaving you without any shows for the rest of the year. Next week, we've got little chat shows.
We had interviews. It was a bit, oh, what's she going to ask her?
Oh no, it was
lovely.
nothing
It was
tricky.
lovely. It was nice. It was just like having a chat with a cup of tea, wasn't it? It was nice.
It was, and I think sometimes it's nice to stop and actually, especially after such a busy year, to stop and look back on how far we've come, because sometimes you forget.
Yes, you're caught up in the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Moving forward, doing all the things that we want to do for next week. We're always thinking, you know, next week, the week after, what we're going to be doing and stuff like
Well,
that.
you
And
think-
you forget.
When
what's
we
going
did
on.
our first ever block of the month in January the 10th, we
We
launched
didn't
Natasha
know,
Makes.
did we, if anybody was going to
We didn't.
watch?
And also, Alistair, lovely Alistair from House of Alistair, he bought and cut the fabric for us.
Yes.
Because I was really scared that we wouldn't. I mean, when I look at it now, I think it was like, I don't know, it was a few £100 worth of fabric, and I was terrified. I was like, what if we don't sell it? What if we don't sell it?
Yeah.
Now we have an entire
We've got a
warehouse
warehouse full of fabric.
fabric, and I don't blink twice. But the thought of that in January would have just blown my mind.
Yes, yeah. Because we didn't know, did we?
We
We
didn't
just
know.
didn't know. We didn't know if you were all going to watch us or anything. And it's just, it's just lovely because we've become this family, really. There's no other word for it.
There
is
isn't. No. And I
We're
look
like a big
forward
family, and it's lovely.
to seeing the names come up on Facebook and whatnot, so that I know who's with us and
Yeah.
checking in, making sure everyone's okay. And
Yeah.
you know, I feel like we've had ups and downs with everyone, haven't we? And
Yeah.
you know, house moves galore with people
new
and
babies.
yeah.
Bereavements, sadly. But yeah, and we've been there, and we've, chatted through it, and yeah, we're company for everybody, and it's lovely, and it's been really nice.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Donna says, happy Christmas to everyone at Natasha Makes. The projects are great and it's wonderful being able to get the fabrics. So thank you for your hard work and love the pets, warts and all. And all who watch, thank you for the conversation and the laughs. Well, this is it, isn't it? It's you guys that make it as well.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Elizabeth says she's still going to try and get my face looking down the camera on a freeze frame screenshot. Josh has already done it, Elizabeth. He's already done it, and he messaged me to say, yeah, I think that fixed it. Either fixed it or broke it. I don't know which one.
Shocked it into submission. It's like, whoa.
So we will... Josh said someone needs to sew it into a quilt. No, they don't. They really don't. They absolutely do not. I don't know what's gone on with this cat. She's going nuts down here.
She's got a reel of something down there that she decides she needs to hunt.
She wants to... Oh, she was playing with a biro the other day. I mean, that's exciting. We've had a blast this year. Thank you so much. And if you watch the shows on Monday, Tuesday, very, very short announcement on Wednesday... because if you've watched on Monday and Tuesday, then you'll know that we'll be revealing something. I don't mean in like a wardrobe malfunctioning kind of a way, I hope not. We'll be revealing something on the Wednesday, if technology allows. Ooh! I've got to get my Zoom on with someone to announce. Oh, she's got a lid of something.
Yeah. She's definitely hunting it. Yeah.
Oh, she's a bit out of breath now. She's got to go sit down. No one likes to overexert. So basically, a very, very happy Christmas from us here at Natasha Makes. Have a safe one. Be good. Enjoy yourselves. Zoom, FaceTime, do whatever you need to do to be with the ones that you love. And we will be here in January.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
Is it the 4th?
Yes, Monday is the 4th.
January the 4th.
Yes. Oh, we just need to say something about the block of the month, if we do it. Well, we'll be doing it, whatever day it is.
Just by the time it arrives to you, yeah.
We should be on block 4. We're going to be doing block 5.
In 2020 tradition, fabric
issues
didn't arrive in time.
Yeah, bless it. So don't think I've gone, well, I have gone bonkers, but yeah, I've sent you block 5. So we're going to be, and it doesn't really matter which block it is because it's all going together to make this lovely quilt, isn't it? But I'd numbered them previously, so it's block 5 that we're on. But that's all it is. And you'll get in your block 5 instructions, you'll get that amendment for block 3 about the cutting instructions. So you're going to find a loose piece of paper with the cutting instructions on. So I suggest you pin it to the front of your block 3 so that you've got it for reference for when you eventually get round to doing it. Just so you don't...
Some have been doing it as we go along.
Yes, and some people are saving it up and doing it a bit by bit. So whatever way you do it. But we talked about the misprint on when we did it, but you've now got a physical piece of paper to put with your fabric, because you may go back to doing that block at another time and forget that there was an amendment. So yeah, we've sent you a new sheet. Yeah, so
the downside of Facebook chat is that they're now conspiring against me, and Julia's now saying, oh, Josh, if you send me that photo, I'll print it off onto a nice piece of cotton.
No, we'll have a cushion.
With my face on. Oh, only so that people can sit on it. Oh, Margaret says, at least HP hasn't bought you a goldfinch. It perched on an orchid and let me carry it to a window.
Oh,
wow. That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's obviously in shock. We're grateful to be rescued.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, she doesn't really hunt anymore. She used to bring Theo things in.
Yes.
To teach him. And now that he knows, she doesn't bother anymore.
No, she's retired now. She's the apprentice is no longer apprentice.
Yes.
He's the master.
She's the no, absolutely, he's the master. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jane.
You're welcome.
And thank everybody at home. And we will see you in the new year live But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be pre-recorded shows to keep you company, and look out for emails from us as well,
Yes.
especially on Christmas Day.
Have a safe and happy Christmas,
Yes.
and we'll see you next year.
Lovely. Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.